It's nice about the songs and stuff, but the other stuff, I told you when I came in, it's something to do with being, you get older, and I've always had this thing, we're born with a blank piece of paper and you start filling it up. So now if you ask me something, I've got pages of reference to go from. This kid can waffle for hours. That's because she's been listening to me waffle since 11 o'clock this morning.
You're also in a great position now where you can pick and choose and decide what you want to do, and more importantly, what you don't want to do.
To a degree, yes, but it's not quite as simple as that. If you like to have a professional attitude in this business, there are things you will do or have to do and should do that, because of situations where if you start getting real stampy feety, you're going nowhere. And there's so many people get stampy feety that they just become obnoxious, extremely difficult to work with for all of us. And we always find that it's best. We wanted to be in this business, the business didn't beg us to come in. And so, I know a lot of people in my position, I don't want to do interviews. Well, why don't you want to talk about yourself? I want to talk about myself. I'm lovely. So, yes, I suppose it's a great position to be in, but it's something to do with being older too.
And as for the place that you're at right now, has your life ever been better? Because you've had the ups and downs, and you've now come back with this new album we're going to talk about in a bit. And it's all about you. You can actually decide what goes on the album, opposed to being told what they want you to record on the album.
Yeah, so, no, it hasn't been better than it is for me now. I mean, I find, again, something to do with being older, something to do with the career, and so the comfortableness of being around that long. And generally, with making that album, this album, or doing the set that I do, I choose everything. So before it became an album, I was just working on the tracks that I had at home. And once it had become an album and we had a deal, then it started to get a bit... I realised I had no one to fight with. Whereas when I've been in a band since I was 12 or 13, you're always jockeying. You know why he doesn't like that song of yours, and you know why she doesn't like that one. So now, is it coming from a place that she wants to get a track of hers on it, or because she just doesn't like style? So you work all that out, and inevitably over the years, that's how I've worked with Quo. And then you got your own album. Well, I can't argue with me. I like that one. We wrote that, didn't we? Yes, we did. So what should we do? Well, I think we like it, And I think I've waited to do that for a long time. And someone said this morning, why do you do this? And I said it's either ego or love. And I possibly think it's more ego than love.
And let's face it can't be for the money right now, because, you're in a good place.
Oh, yeah. But there's nothing wrong with money.
No. And
what happened a couple of years ago, it's made a mess of lots of us, and it's made everybody a lot more worried than they used to be. And the one thing that's always frightened me is either going broke or not having success. They kind of go together, not having hits, and maybe I'd be okay having lots of hits and being famous, but not having money, or I'm not sure which way or the other. So all those things frighten me, and I never think it's enough. And always when I think comes quite suddenly, loads of zeros go falling out of the bank. I don't know where they went. Hello? Come in? All this money seems to disappear somewhere.
Is it luck or judgment that you're so contemporary today, and the fact that I'm still playing your records on the radio?
Luck. There can't be any judgment in that from us, can there? That would mean it'd be so calculative that we could all arrange to make ourselves groovy or not. Status Quo have never had that capacity to make themselves groovy. And also Rick and I have been, we were the Morecambe and Wise of rock for a while, and then I realised probably more than 10 years ago that quite often we go in, nothing gets said. It's very funny, like you said, it's good for ratings, everyone has a laugh, but what do they say? Nothing really. And I find I've got a lot more to say than Rick. I don't mind talking politics, religion, or whatever. Rick isn't necessarily very good at that. We can both be very good, and that's pure old humour. But I got to the point perhaps where I want to say a little more, and perhaps that professionalism has put us in good stead for later life, if you like. That, they still do it. We're never late, except this morning, and we were told off once so bad. I think it was our second or third Top of the Pops. Rick and Alan had been out with two girls that we knew, and they were late for Top of the Pops. And our manager, who was our first manager, must have said to the producer, a guy called Colin Charman, he must have said, "Look, will you go and tell them off for me?" So I don't think he realised. This guy came in, tore us a new derriere, he tore us a new neck, and we just stood there. I've never been spoken to like that. So, never been late since. Rick is never late. I said, if he's got a midday appointment, he aims to be there at 11:15. He said, I won't be late. He won't be late. If he's been late, he's been badly drunk, and he's very, very embarrassed like I would. Don't like to be late.
So is your job then to make it look sexy and showbiz, but actually there's a huge discipline behind it?
Yeah, that's the way it's summing it up. I'm not sure about the sexy bit. Rick's sexy. I'm just that other fella that go.
We're going to get into this because I want to go back to your childhood in a moment, but let's start at the end, which is now, and the ladies. Because, look, I'm a deeply unattractive man. I know this about myself. I mean, they do love you, don't they?
No, but not from that point. I realise they do, but it isn't that way. I know that's what the people see in Rick. Perhaps that's, again, why it works. Rick is this real handsome hunk that women just cannot resist. And I know it. I don't have a problem with it. I've seen them since I was 15, 16. They just melt. And they still do. Young ones, old ones, they just go all gooey when he walks in the room. You go, how does he do that? And I'm not even sure he's aware of it, or maybe it's a degree. But people like me as a mate. The girls do as well. And I'm quite happy with that. I mean, perhaps when I was younger, I'd like to have been this handsome hunk that they all want to bed, but they don't. Or if they do, it's only this. Perhaps if we could sleep next to Rick, would that be all right? You know. I enjoy my own jokes, but there we are. I don't know. I think it's, you know, I'm so grateful to still exist in this business, and it's something I always wanted when I was young. I still moan about it a lot, much as I do about this country, but I still love it. I feel I'm justified in moaning about this country because I love it. And the same with this business, I moan about it. And I know at 2 a.m. when I'm having a leak, I'll be going, oh no. I've got to go. I'm in the studio tomorrow morning at home with no, and then we're away going somewhere slacky. But I'm also looking forward to it.
Let's leave our listener with the thought of you at 2 a.m. having a leak whilst we play a song off this new album.
I sit down, ladies, by the way, sorry.
You sit down?
We must sit down. Us gentle have got to learn to sit down to pee. What's wrong with us?
Is this a time of life issue?
No, I've been doing it for years. I just don't like sitting in other one's pee, do you?
I stand up. So what is the obsession with sitting down? Why is this so important?
You want me to do this on radio?
No, I'm just curious.
Unless you have a slight prostate problem that I have, you've got a bit more pressure than I've got.
Right.
Right. So therefore, off that porcelain, it's going to bounce. And it's going to bounce. It's going to hit either underneath the thing or on top. And I love it when my wife's got in my studio, she's got this. If you sprinkle when you tinkle, be sweet and wipe the sweet. So you'd be most upset, wouldn't you? And yet by the bathroom, apparently we're okay with that. I'm not.
So what we've learned from this, if nothing else,
he
is
sits down to pee.
Okay, all right. Let's take a track off this new album then. Which one's worth listening to whilst you're sat in an intimate moment?
Intimate mode, one step at a time. Not because it's the single, it is it is the one, you'll hear it.
I like it because it's kind of a bit ballady, isn't it?
I love it. I think it's one of the best things I've ever done, yes. We're
back with Francis Rossi on your favourite local radio station. It's Alex Belfield talking to an international megastar, but not sex symbol. That's what we're learning today.
That's a symbol, never mind.
When you walk on stage in front of tens of thousands, which you do regularly, at what point did that become normal?
Good question. Probably middle to late 70s, probably. But even then, there's certain times, anything. But I think any performer will tell you I can be really Jack the Lad confident, which I learnt to be as 12, mouth almighty. But it hides the screaming going on inside. Mum, help, you know. But I learnt to be Jack the Lad, as I said. I learnt to be all of this front. Most days, whether it's a solo stuff or whether I'm with the band, I'm fine going out, lovely. We're going to the venue. If it's a normal day, Rick and I are in there early. If it's an average day, we're in at 2:30 for our evening meal. Look forward to sound check, do sound check, and from then on in, I think I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want me to. Can we go on now? Can we go on now? Can we? Oh, let's do it. We get dressed. I start to get dressed. I get into it. We get on. I look forward to going on. I'm so relieved to come off, and also so elated that it's usually worked great. I'm going at the back stairs of the bus. I know where Rick's going to be. I'm down in my bedroom. He's in his bedroom. The Chinese lady's going to bring up my food in a minute. I'm going to watch a movie and I'm going to play my guitar. Then I'm going to lie down in my bed. And that's the happiest moment for me. We're travelling through the night and everything's as it should be. Everyone at home is safe. All the band are upstairs in bed quiet and we're travelling through the night.
So the ego of the performance isn't the highlight of your day?
And that's strange. It must be the highlight, but there's this thing. That's what I said, the insecure little show-off. He's got this thing dragging him to want to go and show off, but at the same time, don't make me do it. But if you didn't make me do it tonight, why didn't you make me do it? It's like, don't look at me. Why aren't you looking at me? And it drives me insane, but that's what makes it work for me. And I've realised there are a lot of other people in all areas of showbiz that are like that. Even Mary Tyler Moore, which is where I first heard someone say, she said the very same to me. The best thing about her gigs, she said, is finishing. And that's what I feel.
So is there a worry that you won't live up to expectation?
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's little fear that's going up there. And as they're getting older, that, you know, things like down and rocking all over the world, it's always synonymous to do stuff that, if it's high, for some reason we hear it and think it's plaintive, it sounds even better. So, and they're basically out of my range. I shouldn't be singing up there. And so there is a little fear that I won't be able to do, we won't be able to be him. However, I thought this the other night when singing Down, Down, and I've been working abs a bit more stronger than usual lately. And then realised, that's why I can hold this. I can hold the breath better tonight and get the notes better. But it's still high, and I think when I'm 61, will I do that at 70? 70-year-old men don't sound like that. I said this, we were working in the studio the other night with Greg, my engineer. I've done something that's quite high. I said, does that freak you out? I said, what? I said, well, that's my voice. He said, yeah. I said, well, I'm 61. 61-year-old blokes don't sound like that, do they? But that's what, again, as I was growing up, what I saw as a 61-year-old, 41-year-old and so on, well, they definitely aren't around now because I'm them. And I definitely don't epitomise what was a 61-year-old man from when I was 10.
How much fun have you had with your body? Because the fact you're still here and singing
both
those
hands
numbers.
or one hand? Sorry about that. I had to go for that. What fun have I had with my body? Go on.
Well, because your voice is still there, clearly. And on this new album, we can hear you can still sing. There are a lot of people around of your generation who aren't able to perform as well as you do. Were you always kind of secretively protective of your voice and of your body? I mean, you talk about the abs, but it's true.
No, I wasn't very good with my voice. I used to smoke quite a lot, and stopping smoking, well, I'm programmed to smoke 3 a day, and they start in the evening. It can depend. This evening it may not start till 9. Sometimes it may start at 4 in the afternoon. And I think that's helped. I realised when I got to about 40, when I got about 38, 40, I started to practice a lot, realising I wasn't very good, because my wife that I married is quite a good musician. And I realised then I need to look after myself. And the Chinese lady got us to go into the gym one day instead of sitting around in hotels. And I went to a gym. I said, I'll never be one of those. I sure am. I'm a gym gallon now. And we call a gallon is someone that talks about something so much that you would rather pour petrol over yourself and set light to yourself than listen to them talk anymore, which is much to the kind of effect I have on people. But I began to work out, go to the gyms, and then realising that if you can control your abs, I do the 8-minute abs sometimes on YouTube, very good. The 8-minute ab section, it's very, very good.
Would you do that again? That turned me on a little bit.
It was looking me over the eyes like that. No, I do the ab thing, and I realised then all my kids I tried to get doing it. I've got one daughter that isn't sure, that the youngest one, who's quite lean and quite fit at the moment, but all the others are very, very keen to work out, and I'm quite proud that I got that to them, because we should look after it, and it will function if we do look after it.
Are you Millennium Man at home? I mean, do you take care of the kids? Are you into all the family stuff?
Have you got a dictionary? There's a few words I need to look up. No, I think I consider myself not a very good father and not a very good husband, because it's always been about me or status quo. It's always had to come first. I'm sorry, I've been married to my current wife for 20-something. She's been with us about 22 years. I've been on one holiday to her aunt's place in Portugal, which was like committing suicide. I don't cherish the thought of living out of a suitcase, getting on an airplane and going to somewhere extremely hot where I can't breathe. I'll go home. If I got time off, I go home. I'm happiest at home or on the bus. Isn't that sad?
So is this some form of like narcissism then? It's all about you, or is that you just being jokey about it?
It's probably, I don't know if it's narcissism so much as protecting his phony baloney job. Do you know what I mean? It's this thing, status quo has always been very, very important, because unless we do that, we don't eat, guys. They don't go to university. She doesn't get her thing. I don't have my...
But equally, I could say to you, if it all goes wrong, you're going to be a very lonely man at home if there's nobody there waiting for you, if your kids don't like you.
Agreed. It's a bit too late for him to think about that, but that's what he's done. That's why I said to you, I don't necessarily think I'm a very good father, but I've always balanced it with the fact that when I go home, I stay there. Most guys I know even if they're home, they go out to the pub with their mates. I don't. They go to a football match. I don't. They play golf. I don't. I stay home. They don't. And I mean, I stay home to the point that my kids go, Dad's still home then. But one of my, he's 20 now. When I was out on tour somewhere, and I was talking to them. Dad, sit, put the other one on. And he said, Dad, when you come home, you're going to do puzzles. I always do puzzles at Christmas, so I just sit and do puzzles. It's like, for me, it's just wonderful. So, he kept on. He said, are you going to do puzzles? I said, yeah. So I got home on about the 19th of December, and he said, Dad, you're going to do puzzles? Yeah, after Christmas Day. Let me get past Christmas Day, and I'll do puzzles. Right. Dad, you're going to do puzzles? So it got to Boxing Day. I said, right, I'll do a puzzle. So he came when we set this puzzle up, and he was gone. I'm thinking like Dad thought, God, it's good, isn't it? Hey, kids, who'd have kids? Well, we would, obviously. But I realised then, every now and again, he tore out of this other room in the house and there's Dad. Right. Once Dad's doing a puzzle, he's not going out. So that's a kind of a safety thing. They know that I'm at home. If I'm not working, I'm at home. I don't go anywhere else. Thoroughly boring person.